So to everyone in Chicago and across America, thank you. Thank you.
Vice President Kamala Harris makes a surprise virtual appearance from a campaign rally during day 2 of the Democratic National Convention, a day with a lot of West Coast flair. And good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Tonight's headline speakers at the DNC haven't even taken the stage yet, but already Democrats are putting on a show. Let's take you live inside Chicago's United Center, where the convention is underway right now. And you can see we have speakers at the podium as we speak. We know that later tonight, former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama will be tonight's headline speakers. Before they take the stage, we're also expecting speeches from a number of politicians from here in the West. That includes New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, who took the stage just a few minutes ago. Also tonight, we'll hear from Mesa, Arizona Mayor John Giles. He's in the lineup here. The Republican mayor has been leading Arizona's Republicans for Harris chapter, saying he's concerned about the future of the country if former President Trump wins the White House once again. And inside the United Center tonight, there has been a party-like atmosphere throughout the evening, where the states committed their delegates to support Vice President Harris earlier tonight. California Governor Gavin Newsom delivered remarks on behalf of her home state.
Democrats, I've had the privilege for over 20 years to see that future taking shape, with a star in Alameda courtroom by the name of Kamala Harris. I saw that star fighting for criminal justice, racial justice, economic justice, social justice. I saw that star get even brighter as Attorney General of California, as a United States Senator, and as Vice President of the United States of America. Kamala Harris has always done the right thing. A champion for voting rights, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, the rights for women and girls. So Democrats and independents, it's time for us to do the right thing, and that is to elect Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States of America.
And when tonight's roll call wrapped up, Vice President Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, made a surprise appearance at the convention via a live stream from a rally in Wisconsin.
The delegates at the Democratic National Convention, well, they just completed their roll call. And they have nominated Coach Walz and me to be the next Vice President and President of the United States of America. And I thank everyone there and here for believing in what we can do together. We are so honored to be your nominees. This is a people-powered campaign, and together we will chart a new way forward.
And as we mentioned, former President Barack Obama will be among the headline speakers tonight during day 2 of the DNC. And we can also tell you another former president will take the stage at the DNC tomorrow night. That would be former President Bill Clinton, who's scheduled to speak before vice presidential nominee Tim Walz addresses the convention. Walz's speech will close out day 3. Then coming up on Thursday, Vice President Kamala Harris will take the stage to formally accept her party's nomination for president. President Biden, who spoke last night at the convention, is taking the rest of the week off after that speech. Air Force One touched down in Santa Barbara County, California, early this morning. The president and his family will reportedly spend 5 days vacationing in the Santa Ynez Valley. While Democrats are convening in Chicago for the DNC, former President Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance are out on the campaign trail nearby in 2 Midwestern states. Vance was in Kenosha, Wisconsin, his second time in the state in the past 5 days. Trump held a campaign event in Howell, Michigan. The town has historic ties to the Ku Klux Klan and was the site of a white supremacist rally just last month. During their events, both Trump and Vance discuss issues like crime, violence, and immigration.
Others will no longer be losing their children because of weak liberal policies and politicians that have given up on securing a crime-free America. We want a crime-free America. We're going to stop violent crime in the United States.
And because of the site of the Trump event today, the Harris campaign is accusing the former president of stirring up racial tensions for political gain. A Trump campaign spokesperson rejected that criticism, promising that Trump would speak against hate of any form. Tomorrow, former President Trump and his running mate will make a campaign stop together in Asheboro, North Carolina. That's where they'll be discussing national security with veterans and Gold Star families. And on Thursday, the former president travels to communities near Arizona's southern border to discuss immigration. Then coming up on Friday, he'll be holding events in Arizona and Nevada. In Arizona, he's planning to hold a rally at Glendale's Desert Diamond Arena. And in Nevada, he plans to discuss his initiative to eliminate taxes on tips for those working in the hospitality industry. The running mate of independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said the pair are considering dropping out of the race. Nicole Shanahan said on the Impact Theory podcast that if they stay in the race, they, quote, run the risk of a Harris-Walz presidency. The California tech entrepreneur said if they end their campaign, they would support former President Trump. Today, Trump told CNN that he would consider Kennedy for a role in his administration if he drops out. In Las Vegas, this was day 7 of the Robert Tellez murder trial, and the defense began calling witnesses to the stand today. Tellez, a former Nevada politician, is accused of stabbing journalist Jeff Gehrman to death after he published stories critical of Tellez. Today, the defense focused on the day officers arrested Tellez and how he cut his arms as police barricaded his house. They called Dr. Mark Chambers, a forensic psychologist who interviewed Tellez twice, and argued that the self-harm was not an indication of guilt, but an outcome of stress.
Is an attempted suicide a reliable indicator of a guilty conscience?
Not necessarily, no. The stress of being accused of a crime, particularly a severe crime, as I said, can cause people to commit or attempt suicide, whether they're guilty or not.
You are aware that Mr.
Tellez is expected to take the stand in his own defense. His attorney says that could be as soon as tomorrow morning. One of the doctors charged in the death of actor Matthew Perry is being allowed to continue practicing medicine. TMZ reports that as of today, Dr. Salvador Plasencia can legally reopen his practice. He was released on bond Friday after pleading not guilty to conspiring to supply the Friends star with ketamine. Dr. Plasencia's medical practice, Malibu Canyon Urgent Care, can reopen as long as he informs his patients about the criminal case and they agree in writing.
Not continue to write prescriptions for controlled substances. He can only write prescriptions for things like antibiotics or creams or different, medicines that are on a lower end of the spectrum there.
Plasencia's attorney tells TMZ the doctor stopped treating Perry weeks before his death and that he sees this case as overreach. The doctor could face up to 120 years in prison if convicted. A lawyer for the late O.J. Simpson is reportedly trying to raise money to pay Simpson's creditors. TMZ reports the executor of his estate is trying to liquidate assets, including a house in Las Vegas that Simpson's son, Justin, bought for his father. The attorney says its value is estimated at $226,000 and should go to the estate. Still, though, that's only a drop in the bucket compared to the millions of dollars owed to creditors, including the family of Ron Goldman. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, a bit of Hollywood coming to the southern Nevada desert. Tonight, what is going to make Las Vegas feel a lot more like Tinseltown?
And in weather, here's our live camera in Seattle. Current temperature is 65 degrees, some clouds and some shower chances that could linger into the Wednesday forecast. We'll have the update coming up.
$11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
Also coming up tonight, the Seattle police officer caught on camera talking about a crash victim says his comments were taken out of context, why he thinks he was targeted to be fired from the force. The former Seattle police officer who was fired after being caught on camera making callous comments about a crash victim is speaking publicly for the first time. And he says accountability agencies tried to get him fired because of his union ties.
But she is dead. Yeah, just write a check. Just, yeah, $11,000. She was 26 anyway. She had limited value.
A body-worn camera worn by Officer Daniel Arterer picked up what he said last September after a fellow officer struck and killed 23-year-old Janava Kandula with his patrol car. The officer was fired over those remarks. Yesterday, Arterer went on a radio show saying his comments were taken out of context. He insists what he said was mocking city attorneys. He believes the Community Police Commission and Office of Police Accountability purposely leaked false information about the case in order to weaken the Seattle Police Officers Guild, where he served as vice president. Now, we asked the CPC and OPA to comment on Arterer's claims. The CPC responded saying, "We do not have a comment at this time." We're still waiting to hear back from the OPA. Arterer has filed a $20 million tort claim against the city of Seattle, claiming the city leaked false information and wrongfully terminated him. It was a tragic scene earlier today in Seattle as a carjacking turned deadly. Fox 13's Frankie Thompson has the story tonight.
On the other side of the police tape, detectives investigate a crime so horrific, neighbors say they are in shock.
That's absolutely terrifying. I mean, that's somebody's grandmama.
Just before 10 a.m., Seattle police received calls for help in this Madison Valley neighborhood. Police say a woman in her 80s, who was a local dog walker, was with at least 2 dogs when a man attempted to steal her car.
During that struggle and that altercation, the woman was believed to be dragged by her vehicle during the carjacking, and she was mortally wounded during that incident.
Police say at least 2 people saw the whole thing and tried to intervene. When the suspect hit the woman with her car and drove away, officials say the bystanders immediately began CPR, hoping to save her life, but it wasn't enough.
With the bystanders that intervened, that takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery to try to prevent something like this from happening. It's very scary, it's very difficult.
Imagine that too, like you have to live with that imagery for the rest of your life, thinking that you could have done more or done better. Like that, it's sad.
For 5 years, Alexis Robinson has owned a salon across the street from the crime scene. She says lately her sense of security has been changing in this area, especially now knowing the homicide suspect is on the run.
It should never happen, obviously, but you know, it doesn't bode well. I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable. I'm looking over my shoulder.
Neighbors were able to give detectives detailed descriptions of the woman's car and what the suspect looks like, but officials say detectives aren't revealing those details to preserve their investigation.
It's paramount to the investigation that we find that vehicle first. We are actively searching for him. Every officer in the city has been updated about the vehicle description and the suspect description.
Police say detectives are investigating all leads. Who is this woman who lost her life? Who is the suspect and why did he go after the local dog owner? All questions they hope to answer on the other side of the crime tape.
This is a very difficult and very traumatic scene for everybody involved.
And that was Fox 13's Frankie Thompson reporting tonight. Police in Seattle found the car in question earlier this afternoon near the Brighton playfield. A dead dog was also found at that park, but it's unclear if that is related to this case. Police are still asking anyone with information to reach out to them. Los Angeles police are searching tonight for the shooter behind what investigators call an unprovoked attack. It happened early this morning in Northridge. Police say the suspect randomly approached a man pumping gas and shot him in the head before running off. Police don't believe there were any words exchanged before the gunfire. The victim, who's in his 40s, was taken to a hospital, and police say he is expected to survive. Investigators say what most likely saved his life was the fact that the weapon used was likely a small caliber gun, possibly a BB gun. Several firefighters in Arizona are recovering tonight after the roof of a burning home collapsed on them. A woman called 911 yesterday saying a fire from a barbecue grill had spread to her home in Mesa, east of Phoenix. As firefighters responded, the roof of that house collapsed. 10 firefighters were inside the home at the time. All of them were able to get out. 3 of them, though, were treated for minor burns, and 1 of them suffered a back injury.
Holy cow!
Pretty intense. Strong storms crossing northern Utah late last night caught some drivers by surprise. This is what it looked like outside of Salt Lake City as hail and heavy rain hit that area. The Layton City Fire Department responded to several calls for help because of downed power lines and fallen trees. Thankfully, so far, there are no reports of any injuries in that area after the severe weather. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking the West's summer storm activity, and it's really picked up as of late, Mark.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. In fact, it seems like every day we're talking about some storms in these areas out toward portions of Colorado and in the Utah area. This was you saw the images there. This was the radar last night. You'll see the thunderstorms really showing up nicely here on the radar. Things moving out throughout the evening hours. As we take a wider look at the satellite and the radar here, you can see in Arizona, we're tracking some clouds and some showers developing, so we'll be watching out for the development possibly tonight and also into Wednesday. And up in the Pacific Northwest, we have this cool system offshore here producing more clouds and some showers and maybe some thunderstorms out toward the Seattle area for your Wednesday forecast. In fact, this was Seattle today, showing you the cloud cover. Definitely a cooler pattern. Temperatures only in the upper 60s. In the San Francisco Bay Area, the fog cleared out. It's a beautiful day looking out toward Ocean Beach and Golden Gate Park. 74 degrees, a warm 74 in San Francisco. And in Arizona, of course, another hot day. Temperatures 112 degrees this afternoon. You can see some of those cloud buildups off in the distance as well. Current numbers right now, it is 105 degrees in Las Vegas. Los Angeles checking in the lower 70s. Reno's 81 and Portland, Oregon in the 70s at 73 degrees. Here's the plan for tomorrow for your Wednesday forecast. We'll be talking about some shower chances in the Seattle area. Also out toward Denver and also maybe in the Phoenix area as well. Out in Phoenix, temperatures easily up above 100 degrees. 80s for the Los Angeles area and some patchy morning fog for San Francisco. Partly sunny skies into the afternoon hours, but sort of an active pattern developing over the next few days. Here, as we take this into your Wednesday, it is boosting the shower chances up in Seattle, also out toward Denver, and then also the shower coverage developing, especially tomorrow afternoon in the Phoenix area. And then as we take this into your Thursday, you can see this circulation, this big area of low pressure. That is an unusually cold pattern setting up that'll move into Northern California and a temperature drop for the San Francisco Bay Area. In Los Angeles, here's the forecast for tomorrow. We are expecting some 80s, increasing sunshine into the afternoon hours. As you can see here, we'll continue to hold on to the cloud cover for Seattle. San Francisco, some patchy morning fog, and then also tracking some thunderstorm chances in Denver and also in Phoenix. 105 degrees. Not as hot as today, but still hot and maybe a bit unstable with the pattern setting up with those thunderstorm chances going up in the Wednesday forecast.
Yeah, that seems to be the pattern. Mark, thank you. The state of Utah has filed a lawsuit against the federal government seeking control of more than 18 million acres of land that's currently overseen by the Bureau of Land Management. Utah's Attorney General announced the lawsuit today, which has been filed directly with the U.S. Supreme Court. The suit argues that keeping unappropriated land under federal control prevents Utah from taxing those holdings or using eminent domain to develop critical infrastructure. The land in dispute here covers roughly 34% of Utah, but does not include national parks, national monuments, or tribal lands. A BLM spokesperson says the agency will not comment on pending litigation. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, a major Hollywood studio wants to set up a new home away from home. Tonight, more on the plans that could spur movie-making business in Las Vegas. Also, FBI agents start reaching out to scam victims. We'll show you how their new operation may help to stop con artists in their tracks. The FBI hopes a new operation called Take a Beat will help to protect you from scammers who are trying to steal your money. Fox's Kennedy Hayes is in Denver tonight with a look at this effort to get people to stop and evaluate a situation to avoid becoming a victim of fraud.
The FBI's goal is to help people resist the urge to respond quickly to scammers. The new effort is called the Take a Beat campaign. Now, FBI statistics show Americans have already lost $1.6 billion from January to May of this year. That's nearly $300 million more than the same time last year. Some popular scams rely on text messages. Better Business Bureau says scammers like to send texts because most people respond quickly. Some messages look like they're from organizations or banks saying something is about to expire or you owe money, which leads you to call a number or click a link. BBB says while text scams aren't new, scammers' messages are getting savvier, which is why it's so important to slow down.
A lot of people act upon fear. They're worried about either their safety, their money. If they claim that there's fraud going on, they're worried about their accounts. So absolutely, they're going to act. And in a lot of cases, that's when the identity theft happens, or that's when the bank account gets drained.
To prevent fraud, FBI says you should search online for the sender's information, email, or number to see if it's legitimate. Also, never send any of your personal information and contact your bank right away so they can block suspicious activity. If you or someone you know falls for a scam, the FBI says you should report it to them too. And the FBI may contact you, but they will never ask for your personal finance information. In Denver, Kennedy Hayes, Fox News.
One of Las Vegas's newest attractions is proving to be a pricey venture for its operators. The Sphere's most recent fiscal report shows the venue has an operating loss of more than $341 million for the 2024 fiscal year. Despite the disappointing number, revenues are up more than $453 million compared to the prior year. The venue's executive chairman and CEO says he's confident the Sphere is on the right path. Disney is no longer asking a Florida court to dismiss a wrongful death case on the grounds that the victim's family signed up for its streaming service, Disney+. Disney filed the notice to withdraw the motion today after facing strong backlash. The lawsuit was brought by Jeffrey Piccolo, whose wife died from an allergic reaction after eating at a restaurant at Disney Springs. Disney argued it couldn't be sued for her death because Piccolo agreed to settle any lawsuits against the company out of court when he signed up for a one-month trial subscription to Disney Plus in 2019. This lawsuit will now be headed to court. Finally tonight, Warner Brothers Discovery announced plans today for a new movie studio in southern Nevada. The media company says the $8.5 billion project is an extension of its work with the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Warner Brothers Studios Nevada would include film and television workforce development programs at a new media and technology lab right there on the UNLV campus. The state legislature is set to take up a bill to approve a major tax credit for the project when it convenes coming up in February. And that does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching. And before we go, a reminder that you can stay up to date on all the big stories we're covering across the West at our website. That's westcoastwrap.com. And you can also stream all of our shows on your smart TV by downloading the free Fox Local app. We'll leave you here with a beautiful shot of downtown San Francisco. Have a great night.